Life is full of people. Some of them pass by, shake your hand, smile, and move on. You might even remember their face for a while, but when the moment fades, so does the impact. Those encounters are fleeting, almost like background noise in the story of your life. And that's okay. Every person we meet teaches us something, even if it's just patience or perspective. But then there are the rare few who leave a mark that doesn't fade. They don't just cross your path, they alter the trajectory of your thoughts, your decisions, your very understanding of what's possible. I've met a lot of extraordinary people, visionaries, creators, innovators. Some are brilliant, some are inspiring, some are just unforgettable in the simplest ways. But brilliance alone doesn't change you. Inspiration alone doesn't stay with you. What really matters is the way someone touches your heart, shifts your mindset, and challenges you to see yourself differently. That's the difference between an encounter and real impact. These rare influences remind you that life isn't just a series of events, it's a network of connections, and some connections are transformative. They make you think bigger, act bolder, and care deeper. And when you recognize those people, you see the pattern, the moments that truly define us are rarely planned. They arrive unexpectedly, quietly, and they stay with you because they awaken something inside you that was already waiting. So while many may cross your path, remember this: the ones who change your heart are the ones worth remembering, worth following, and worth learning from. Because the people who truly impact us aren't just part of our journey, they reshape it. It's easy to overlook the people who quietly shape us. In a world that celebrates loud achievements and visible success, we often miss the subtle influence of those who work behind the scenes. They don't demand attention, they don't seek recognition, and yet their presence has a way of changing the way you think, the way you act, and even the way you see yourself. These are the people who challenge you to be better without telling you to try harder, who inspire without applause, and who plant ideas in your mind that take root long before you realize their impact. Recognizing these people requires awareness. It requires slowing down long enough to notice the subtle shifts they create, a conversation that sticks with you, a question that makes you pause, a gesture that resonates on a deeper level. These are signs that someone is influencing you in ways that matter. And when you start to see them clearly, you begin to understand that influence isn't always about grand gestures or headline-worthy moments. Sometimes the quiet encouragement, the unwavering support, or the gentle nudge toward reflection has the power to transform your trajectory more than any public accolade ever could. Gratitude becomes part of the equation. Appreciating the people who shape us isn't just polite, it's strategic. When you honor their role in your growth, you internalize the lessons they've imparted and strengthen the connection that continues to guide you. These individuals remind us that transformation often comes from the unseen, the uncelebrated, and the overlooked. The lesson is simple: don't wait for a grand event to notice influence. Pay attention to the subtle forces around you and recognize those rare souls who quietly change your perspective. Because the ones who shape us most aren't always visible, they're felt in the heart. Meaningful relationships are more than just companionship, they're catalysts for growth. When the right person enters your life, they challenge the way you think, push the boundaries of your comfort, and inspire you to see possibilities you hadn't considered before. They don't just share experiences with you, they shape the lens through which you view the world. That influence can be subtle, at first a question that makes you pause, a perspective that slowly reshapes your thinking, a challenge that nudges you to act differently. Over time, these small shifts accumulate, and suddenly you realize that the person in front of you has changed the way you approach everything. It's not just about support, it's about transformation. The people who truly impact us don't always tell us what to do. They invite us to discover what we're capable of. They introduce ideas, perspectives, and expectations that stretch us, sometimes uncomfortably, sometimes thrillingly, but always in ways that matter. And that transformation isn't temporary. It leaves an imprint on your habits, your decisions, and your ambitions. This is why connection matters. Even brief interactions can plant seeds that grow into major shifts in your life, but deeper, sustained relationships accelerate that growth exponentially. A mentor, a partner, or even a friend who sees your potential and refuses to let you settle for less becomes a mirror reflecting not just who you are, but who you could become. So when you think about the people who have crossed your path, look beyond the surface. The ones who leave a lasting mark are the ones who challenge you, elevate you, and make you rethink what you thought was possible. Because true connection doesn't just accompany your journey, it transforms it. Every interaction in life carries a lesson, even the ones we don't immediately understand. Some encounters teach us patience, some teach us resilience, and some teach us what kind of person we don't want to be. But the truth is, every experience has value if we're willing to pay attention. The people who leave a mark on our hearts often do so by showing us things about ourselves that we couldn't see alone. Our strengths, Our blind spots, our untapped potential. It's easy to dismiss these lessons when life gets busy. We scroll past conversations, overlook small gestures, and forget the impact of a simple word or action. But if you pause and reflect, you realize that even fleeting encounters can be profound. Every person you meet, intentionally or accidentally, presents an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become more aligned with the person you're capable of being. Sometimes the most powerful lessons come from discomfort. Someone might challenge your assumptions, push you out of your comfort zone, or even confront you in ways that feel uncomfortable at first. Those are the moments that catalyze growth. They force you to examine yourself, your priorities, and your approach to life. When you embrace the lesson rather than resist it, transformation follows naturally. The people who truly change your heart are not always the ones who cheer you on. They're often the ones who make you stop, think, and see things differently. They show you paths you might never have considered and possibilities you didn't know existed. So don't underestimate any encounter, no matter how small or brief. The lessons are there if you're paying attention, waiting to shape the way you think, act, and live. Because growth doesn't always announce itself, it whispers through the people who cross our path. There's a power in emotional connection that most people underestimate. Facts, achievements, and logic can get you far, but it's the people who reach your heart who inspire real action. When someone speaks to your values, your dreams, or even your fears, it creates a resonance you can't ignore. That resonance awakens motivation, shifts perspective, often sparks creativity or courage in ways nothing else can. It's not about impressing or convincing, it's about genuinely touching the part of you that drives decisions, that fuels ambition, that believes in possibilities. The people who truly change us understand this instinctively. They communicate in ways that bypass superficial thinking and connect directly to our purpose. A single conversation, a shared moment, or even a look of understanding can ignite determination or clarity that lasts far beyond that interaction. And it's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, a thoughtful question, a challenge framed as encouragement, a simple act of belief that makes you feel capable of more than you thought possible. This emotional influence isn't limited to individuals. It can ripple through your entire life. When someone resonates with your heart, it changes how you approach your work, your relationships, and your ambitions. It becomes a lens through which you view possibilities differently, a catalyst that turns ordinary experiences into meaningful action. What makes these connections rare and valuable is that they aren't forced. They come from authenticity. When someone engages genuinely without ego or pretense, it touches something inside you that no amount of logic or persuasion can reach. And that kind of impact stays with you. It shapes your decisions, your goals, and your courage to take risks. Because the people who reach your heart don't just inspire, they unlock the strength you didn't know was already inside you. Finally, there's the idea of intentional influence, recognizing that the people who truly change us are rare, and choosing to surround ourselves with them is one of the most powerful decisions we can make. Life is full of noise, distractions, and fleeting connections. Many people will cross your path, and most will leave little more than a footprint in the sand. But the ones who shape your heart, who challenge you to grow and see the world differently, are worth seeking out and holding close. It's about being deliberate, not passive. When you recognize someone whose presence awakens potential, it's important to invest in that connection, to listen, learn, and be open to transformation. These relationships aren't always easy. They may challenge your assumptions, push you out of your comfort zone, or confront you with truths you'd rather avoid. But that challenge is exactly what makes them invaluable. They force you to think bigger, act bolder, and examine what matters most. Intentional influence also means valuing depth over breadth. It's tempting to surround ourselves with many people, but not all influence is equal. Some interactions are fleeting, some relationships superficial, and some connections distracting. The ones that truly change us are the ones that make us pause, reflect, and ultimately evolve. They become mirrors, showing us not just who we are, but who we could become. When you invest in the people who change your heart, you're investing in your own growth. You're choosing to let your life be shaped by vision, courage, and authenticity, rather than convenience or popularity. In doing so, you amplify your ability to achieve, inspire, and leave a meaningful mark. Because the people who truly matter aren't just companions, they are the architects of your transformation.